Hello and welcome to the Tea Party Hardy channel for a review of the very excellent Mr. Dundee. Okay, so I'm like, wow, this should be interesting. It's a new Crocodile Dundee movie. Weird, but cool, because the first one was really, really good. Second one was good. Everybody seems to have forgot about the third one with Los Angeles, but I have the DVD, so I'm like, all right, cool. And I also was one of the few people who actually paid to see and really enjoyed the one he made with, there was a couple he did that were really rare. The Almost an Angel was really good. I think that was the title. And then there was one more that he made with Cuba Gooding Jr. right after he won the Oscar. And boy, did people just, not me, not like it. I liked it. I thought it was fun. I like Paul Hogan. I don't have an issue. Okay, so this movie, what do you think of this movie? Well, I'll tell you what. I went over to IMDb. I did not read the reviews so that it wouldn't taint anything I had to do. But I did look at the number and I'm like, wow, really? That's weird. So I watched it. Now, 2 complaints and then the good stuff. And prepare yourself because there's a lot of good stuff. 1 complaint. I was very disappointed that Paul Hogan didn't write it. And I was a little surprised because the tone of the movie shows that they really got the vibe for it. So maybe he did the story. So he didn't write it. That was a disappointment. There's a scene about 3/4 of the way through the movie. Then I'm like, this is really weird. And I don't get it because it's just like, eh. Now, about that second complaint of the weird scene in the movie. When you get to the end, suddenly that weird scene fits nicely into the puzzle and you're like, oh, well done indeed. No wonder you're the excellent Mr. Dundee. Okay, so now let's get into a little bit of a synopsis and then we'll give the full review. Synopsis. It starts out with a biography of the actor Paul Hogan and how the Crocodile Dundee movies worked. So, if you grew up watching Crocodile Dundee or Paul Hogan, if you're from Australia, then you're like, oh wow, cool, yeah, nice to hear that again, nice reminder. If you've never heard of Paul Hogan, then you're like, oh, this guy's actually got a lot of roots going on, cool. So it was a nice layout background. Then the next thing it goes into is you get these family dynamics which are oddly played out because the person that plays his manager, there's a lot of times where you think, is that his daughter? And I don't think it is. And then there's his son's in the movie, or an actor playing his son, I don't know which. But anyways, and boy, is he just like, why is he in here again? Even at the end, you're like, why was he in here again? And then there's his granddaughter, who is a key feature of this movie. And you'll see how that works. It's a very key feature. And I'm just like, well, who owns her? Because there's your son, and that's not your daughter, so who owns it? So all the women of the movie that they don't explain the family ties very much, but it doesn't matter. That's just, you don't care, other than if you're like me doing reviews and you're like, wow, let's tie up these loose holes. But as a story, as it unlays, no, it's good times. Okay, so it's very, very much a family film, whereas Crocodile Dundee was adult and teen, and kids could enjoy it too, but it was, it had adult jokes. This one, this one's for kids. This is totally family-oriented movie, except there are some cuss words that I really wish weren't in here to make it 100% family. And so what you gonna do? Cameos aplenty. There are lots and lots of cameos, and with the exception of Mel Gibson, they all really fit nicely. Mel's they stole, so they don't fit as well. But it's kind of nice to see Mel, but they again, the other ones are legit cameos playing into the story, whereas Mel's isn't. And I'm like, okay, fine. So all the other ones are very, very satisfying. The one with Olivia Newton-John is, yeah. So one of the things that makes this movie so wonderful, and that led me to believe that Paul Hogan wrote it, is holy smackers, is this movie self-deprecating on Paul Hogan. It just tears him to shreds. And the only thing that makes him redeemable is the love of his granddaughter from the world's point of view. And I'll leave it at that, because when you watch the movie, it's like, hey, wait a minute. It's like, nah, from the world's point of view. But his granddaughter knows the truth. Okay, so that's really fun. And the John Cleese character, I thought it was going to be like, okay. Oh, no, nope. If you like John Cleese, you will love his character in this because it just keeps unfolding John Cleese style with more and more of John Cleese punchlines where they just keep building. Every joke leads to the next joke. They're not segues. They're all building blocks. So, and if you're not a John Cleese fan, then it probably won't do anything for you. But if you are a John Cleese fan, it's like, oh, dude, thank you. Good times. The fellow in the middle here that you're seeing, he plays a photographer. And I've seen him in a few other things before. He's a character actor. He's surprisingly good in this. So much of the movie at the beginning feels loose and slapshot, but it's not. It's imagine a bag with a cinch at the top. In order to put everything in it, you need it wide open. So it's loose. But as you get ready to take your load and do the laundry, to do the payoff, you start to tighten it, and it starts to fill up, and everything starts to fit perfectly in place. And that is how this movie works. It starts out really loose, but everything builds to everything. The writing is so good. Again, I wish it would have been Paul Hogan. But it wasn't. Anyways, Paul Hogan has aged considerably. He says in the movie he's 80. I don't know if this is his actual age or not, but he's old. So he doesn't look like he used to. And that's distracting for me, but it's like, so who cares? He can't change it. There is an actor from Australia that's in it. And holy mackerel, is that dude had way too much plastic surgery. And you're looking at him like, why? You don't look younger. You look like a space alien. There's so many people that fit into that category. Choose wisely if you're going to slice and dice. So, this is a fantastic family movie. The ending is pure Disney when Disney used to do pure Disney endings. Because they don't anymore. But this one is, minus the cuss words. So, when you get to the end, ladies, get your handkerchiefs. Gentlemen, get ready to hand your woman a handkerchief. It's that. Oh! And it's so well done. And then, like all good movies should, after it does the Disney ending, there's more ending. And it's so pleasant. It is so pleasant. So you get to the aw moment, and then you get to the, oh, cool moment, and then you get to the, I don't want to spoil it. I don't do spoilers on this channel. But anyways, all in all, it is a wonderful, wonderful movie. Get through the first 15 minutes and remember, all of it's building to something. Except for the son. Except for his son. Maybe you can put in the comments what that was. And even at the end when they buttonholed him, I'm like, okay. But, yeah, still don't know what purpose he served in this movie, except to add literally a few seconds here and a few seconds there. Everybody else, you totally get what they're for, even if you don't know if they're related. Yeah. So it's a great movie. IMDb is like full of crackheads, so there you go. And I remember when I went to IMDb a long time ago, and they said, Man of Steel is like a 9.3. I'm like, really? That sad, depressing movie with no humor, and the S doesn't stand for Superman, it stands for hope? It's like, oh, God, please. No. So, I like IMDb for the ability to find out where the actors are from and things like that. But boy, when it comes to their reviews, there's so many bots, and there's just so much garbage. And you have to read through them to find it, but I'll still take it over the very manipulated and politicized Rotten Tomatoes. What a waste of time that has been ever since Captain America, when they just said, we're going to do everything we can to save this movie. Okay, well, I guess you could say they succeeded because it made a ton of money, but they didn't succeed in making the story any better. But this movie's wonderful. Do enjoy it, and we will see you in the future.